So my name is Jay Gomez. I'm representing GIFIA, the Gibraltar Funds and Investments Association. I'm a lawyer by practice. I was dragged into the crypto world a long time ago, just because Gibraltar obviously was one of the leading jurisdictions to start regulating the space. And shortly after that, the funds industry followed behind it. And now is one of the leading jurisdictions in the world for the domiciliation of crypto funds.
Very good.
My name is Luis Mas. I'm from Barcelona, living in Estonia. We started in 2017 with education. In 2020, started with investments, and we find Gibraltar like a jurisdiction. And I think that we launched here the first crypto hedge fund tokenized in the world. I think that it's the first, or one of the first ones. And then we replicate in a feeder fund in the United States, the same security token. So, Pavel.
Big round of applause for Pavel. Yeah, Pavel. Woo! You're not off the hook. Were you done? Okay. Hey, come by anytime. Okay. Anyways, so name, business, and give us a little snippet about how you got into crypto and blockchain.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm Pavel. I'm CEO, co-founder of Sigil Fund. We are a long biased technology investor in the crypto space. So we are the perspective of technology and ideology of crypto and blockchain technologies. So in this event, I guess, we will represent the values of the technology progress that are, in my opinion, needed as much as the talks about regulation and law in this crypto space altogether. So when Minister Albert Isola started this conference with a point that we are here because Gibraltar was at the vision of blockchain very early and decided to become the hub for crypto as it is safe haven for regulation, and it really indeed became, and as a fund we are grateful to be positioned in Gibraltar since 2018. This is of course true, but there's a bigger point why we are here today, and that is the point of the technology trigger. And we are here today because Satoshi Nakamoto started Bitcoin in 2009, and we are here today because Vitalik Buterin and his co-founders started Ethereum in 2014. So if you look at the world around us nowadays, it is failing on many levels, and we as a society are lying to each other on many levels. So as an investor in the crypto space, our mission is kind of to support and facilitate the technologies that help us progress as a society. And events like this are to a large degree about education on how we want to progress as a society and how the technology is enabling this level of progress. So just to give a few examples, we live in a world where money, concept of money is broken. There's a stampede inflation. We have Russia invading Ukraine, despite the fact that the United States of America knew about the plan since November 2021. Instead of trying to prevent that, they prepared themselves for lashing out back into Russia. We live in the world where China will soon invade Taiwan, where students are seriously indebted by going to college and being effectively unable to repay the debt, and where most of people will not receive any pension. We obviously saw how the Western institutions handled the COVID crisis. It was like a total shambles. So that's kind of the context where we are today. And crypto technology is one of the possible answers that can kind of take out of this mess, in all honesty. And but crypto is just a technology. I mean, what this technology represents is hopefully like a reform in the way we think as a community and as a society. So shout out to Pete and every other organizer of events in Europe and around the world for doing this. And I guess I'll be representing the voice of technology and technology investor in these talks.
It's strongly ideological, so I like it. Pavel's taking a stand.
I want to say that previous panel, because I arrived just right now, was really amazing. There is a colleague from Spain, Alberto, so hi. So, but in this panel, for the first time, I listened 2 times the word education. We are trying to analyze a disruption. We are not going to solve nothing because we don't have enough perspective. We have to educate. People have to educate and has the rights to educate and make mistakes. But I think that the point of view of disruption of the technology, we have to put the focus on that, put the focus in the advantages that this technology can bring to the society, and like investment funds and professional investment funds help people to take advantage of this situation, like at the same time internet 20 years ago. But not to focus in the regulation. When we're talking about regulation, usually it means taxes, usually. And second, when we are talking about regulation, some may say that it's about good regulation, not bad regulation. I want regulation when sometimes, for instance, one user can make a transaction, and he's doing a transaction wrong, and he's losing the money. This we have to try to fix it. But we don't have to try to over-regulate a technology that you can choose use this technology or another one, because the code is ruling the rules, let's say.
That's a debate I'm always having. We'll get to that. All right, so I hear you. We're ideologically aligned, but I want to poke at the funds thing. Did I hear you say that you have a tokenized fund?
Yeah.
Okay, can you, I'm going to throw out the agenda and go right at that. How did you tokenize? So you're not merely trading in crypto assets, you actually tokenize the fund itself?
Right.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, it's an example of the use of this amazing technology in the regulated way, in the benefit for investors. In this case, when investors are entering into the fund, they are getting in exchange security token, okay, with the value of the, let's say, a representative share.
Okay, I'm a securities lawyer, so I'm going to pick it to death. Okay, you have a fund. You establish a legal fund.
Yeah.
Okay, people are buying limited partnership interests.
Yeah.
Okay, you tokenize their limited partnership interest, and you issue them a token for the partnership interest?
In the current financial system, when you are participating in a fund, you need a third party, okay, that is making the custody and giving to you the rights of these services. In this case, you are making the custody of your asset. So when secondary markets are more developed, investor will have more rights because this asset, this security token, is validated for a government. So has a real value. It's regulated. So you can use it in secondary markets to do another things. So this is one of the revolutions that blockchain brings to not only financial markets, in all the marketplaces, in NFTs or another kind of areas.
Actually, that's an interesting question. Is the token...
And this happening in Gibraltar. So well, we did something huge here.
Is the token at ERC20? Is it an NFT?
Sorry?
What chain did you issue your token on?
Matic, Polygon.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a much longer conversation. Okay. This is fascinating. Is this... Obviously, there's tons of crypto funds out there. I haven't heard of too many tokenized funds actually working in real life. Do you want to comment about that?
Yeah, I think from an industry perspective, we've seen a spectrum of funds domiciling themselves in Gibraltar. So, you have the normal fund that will invest in digital assets, and then you have the fund like the one Luis has set up, which is tokenizing its participation. I have to say we haven't seen a whole load of them, particularly because of the complexity of setting them up.
It's sort of ironic that we haven't seen it, because the whole point of the fund is to tokenize everything, ideally. You would think you would tokenize yourself.
Yeah.
But go on.
I think it's just down to the complexity that we haven't seen a whole load of them being done, but it obviously doesn't necessarily mean that it can't be done. And part of the beauty of the regime in Gibraltar is the flexibility that it allows to do exactly what Luis and his team have done. And part of the role of the association as an industry body is to support that kind of innovation and link that in with the training and the education that Luis was talking about. So we work with guys like them to deliver training to our members to make sure that the service providers that sit around the funds are able to service exactly the type of innovation that these guys need.
All right, so you're leading into the next question, which is, suppose I'm setting up a crypto fund. Tokenization of that fund, different conversation. Suppose I'm setting up a crypto fund. What am I looking for in terms of a regulatory regime? What do I need? What are my requirements? And how does Gibraltar meet them?
So essentially, there's two options: the private fund or the experienced investor fund. The experienced investor fund being the regulated fund. The majority of funds tend to start in the experienced investor fund regime. And the first protocol would usually be engaging with professional service providers, so your lawyers, fund administrator, and speaking to the likes of banks if you need banking, auditors, making sure that you're able to circle yourself with the right service providers to be able to help you with that establishment process.
Okay, so but is there a specific set of regulations I want to have in place? Or is it more that I'm looking for the professional infrastructure that's used to this sort of thing?
So the actual funds products themselves date back many, many years, and there was actually very little that needed to be done in order to make them work for crypto funds. As an industry body, Jafir in 2018 published a code of conduct for crypto funds. And that really was a recognition of that we needed to put best practices in place to ensure that crypto funds were being managed properly. So it's more initially about surrounding yourself with the right service providers that are able to guide you in the initial stages as to how best to structure the fund.
Interesting. Pavel, is your fund set up in Gibraltar?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, and
So-
why did you, specifically, why did you choose Gibraltar?
Yeah, so in the opening remark, I mentioned all these things that are failing in the society. So one of the things that works is Gibraltar as a jurisdiction of stability and like a clear regulation for the crypto businesses. So that's the number one reason we are here. And as a fund, we make dozens and maybe lower hundreds of investments into tech teams and startups. And what I've seen as a trend is those that are based in Europe or kind of nearby regions like maybe Israel and like Georgia and like parts of Asia, they often choose Gibraltar as well without me telling them about Gibraltar. So that's kind of a testament of the fact that Gibraltar has done something right. If you want to, on one hand, progress innovation as a founder and kind of bring the society to a better place through this, trustless, open, permissionless society that enables all these future positive socio-economic interactions, you obviously at some point need to consider your personal situation there and kind of, clarity with the law, because when you're on the front line of pioneering new technology, which is not really clearly regulated, and maybe some institutions that have big teeth, like SEC in the United States, you need to consider these things. So Gibraltar is clearly the number one option in Europe for these things. I don't know about any other option, frankly speaking, in Europe. Can obviously go offshore. You can go very expensive, costly regulatory way in like the US. Frankly speaking, UK has been very disappointing as a regulator for founders. Yeah. So Gibraltar has done a really good job, like one of the best in the world in the crypto regulation.
Interesting. So, Stehno, so looking forward, did you want to comment?
Yeah, I want to say that I think that Gibraltar is the third largest jurisdiction for crypto funds. The first one is Cayman Island, but because they are close to United States. And second is British Islands, that is in Caribbean, I think so.
And you don't want to even be close to the United States?
No, we are operating legally in the United States. So for us, on board, one of the biggest markets in the world, it's very important. And bring the money here to Gibraltar.
Fair enough. So let me change the focus a little bit. So in terms of development of crypto funds, tell us what this last year was like. Tell us what, go ahead.
So I think from an industry body, I think everyone was a little bit worried that the crash would mean a downturn as well in the number of funds looking to set up. And the reality has been quite the opposite. I think most managers see it as an opportunity to start in a good position. Obviously, those funds that were set up have had their own challenges, and maybe Pavel wants to add a little bit.
Yeah, I think what's the most interesting for me is the progress in the technology and investment opportunity, so the tech and the prices. So most of you will know in May 2020 we had Bitcoin halving, which fundamentally by design reduced inflation on Bitcoin from 4% per year to 2% per year. And it kicked off the bull run in the crypto markets that we saw at the end of the year 2020 and throughout the year 2021. Crypto is extremely young and new technology, so it's volatile. You have these cycles. After every bull market, we see a bear market, which we are experiencing currently. What I think is really interesting, and maybe could be a new concept to many of you, that markets grow and fall for like two reasons. There are good reasons to grow, and there are bad reasons to grow. So good reason why we grew in 2020 and 2021 is this fundamental improvement in Bitcoin as like a store of value money because of this reduction of inflation from 4 to 2%. So it always has an effect because it reduces the sell pressure from the miners. So the bull market always happens by design after Bitcoin halving. Now, we grew, and then obviously people get FOMO, retail start noticing crypto and technology, and kind of realize that, oh, it didn't die last time, as they would like to believe from the media, and kind of jump on the ship. And then the market kind of wants to grow as high as possible, even though if the price is already too high compared to what the technology can do, right? So that was the last bull run and the current bear market that we have right now. And I think the most interesting advancement, obviously, is the Ethereum upgrade, the merge that just happened. And if you paid attention to the impact of Bitcoin halving, reducing the inflation from 4% to 2%, do you guys know what just happened on Ethereum? Ethereum inflation went from 4.6% to effectively less than 0.5%. So we are at the moment where prices are extremely low because we are like experiencing the macro, concerns, the inflation, the Fed tightening, but also we are naturally in like the bear market cycle. After we grew for bad reasons, we now need to kind of, drop minus 70%, and then we will resume to growth again. And the next bull run obviously may be driven by shift in the macro narrative, but we will also be able to grow for good reasons. That Ethereum is becoming ultra-sound money by the change in this inflation dynamics, and there is also a lot happening in the Ethereum ecosystem, like the art through NFTs, like games, which we are very interested about, and we invest in a lot of games. So if some game founders are here, happy to talk with you about gaming space. So yes, there is a lot of good reasons to grow in the next year, and I think the macro will have to change as well, because the only reason why we have inflation is high energy prices, and it will eventually come back to sort of more expensive, but sort of a normal again. And then we'll grow in crypto, because crypto is exciting technology that's the future of digital tech.
Luis, what were the past couple of years like from your perspective?
I don't have enough time to talk today, but no, if you compare the last bull market with this, I cannot say bull market, bear market. I cannot say. It's a build market because if you compare the state of the situation, the state of art from 4 or 5 years ago, wow, it's crazy. So Uniswap, I think that was launched in 2017. So in the last bear market, we don't have these DeFi protocols that now are ruling, and these healthy DeFi protocols, they are not suffering now in the market. They crash. The protocols that they use, let's say, leverage in a bad way, or they replicate the bad habits of traditional finance markets. So years ago, we have CryptoKitties. Now we have a very developed marketplace of NFTs, and we are still so early. So what we have to put the focus is that this technology is here to stay, that we are in a very early stage, that really there are huge opportunities, immense opportunities, and put the focus on that and try to enter in the right way in this world, not putting the focus in the price in the short term, because, for instance, there are people now talking about the merge, and no, Ethereum go down. Oh, Jesus. Ethereum developers are not thinking on price. They are thinking in long term, building a better society, building products for the masses. So this is not the time. They are building in 6, 7, 8 years in front. So the problem is put the focus on the price.
You're leading into the next question, which is, the last couple of years we had the bull market. We're probably in a bear now. I'm not quite sure why we are. But going forward, our funds, what's the strategy going forward? How do you position yourself? How do you deal with this world?
Look, I can say 2 things. So first, when you are making the onboarding of the investors, you have to educate them. You have to explain which kind of fund you have, which is the target, which is the long-term, short-term, if it's speculative, or it's a Bitcoin trust, Ethereum trust. So you have to talk with them and match with what they are looking for, okay? But the thing is that, and one of the reasons that we are here is that society is changing. Society is changing. So we are moving to a society of leisure, of more free time, less work, more robots, more artificial intelligence.
I'm sorry. Who has more free time and less work? Raise your hand. I'm not sure that we have more free time and less work, but okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you are in a comfort zone. But
sorry, that guy. Congratulations. I need a mentor. Huh? Oh, because you work with Pavel. Okay, got it. Go on.
No, for sure there are people that is not struggling in comfort zone, but also DeFi and these blockchain protocols are for you.
I'm all down with DeFi. I'm not. The more capable we get, the more we can do, and the more it feels like we have to work to do it all. But that's just my feeling.
I just want to chime in about the future and how you position yourself as technology investor. You must be a visionary and a technology expert. So that's what we do in Sigil Fund. We work with the technology firsthand. We have been a proud user of Tornado Cash early on, and we will be experimenting with every single technology that's pioneering the new frontiers. So you need to be the visionary and look ahead, like where the ball will be next. So our team is currently over 30 people, if I count Sigil Fund, Z Prime Capital, and CryptKit development team. We have 12 people here in this event. And for those of you techies and Twitter fans, I want to leak that Fiskantes is in the room.
Great. And I think we're in the last 2 minutes. I'm going to throw it to the panel. You raised an issue with Tornado Cash that's dear to my heart, which is post-Ethereum merge, now Gensler from the SEC is making it sound like it may be a security, because now there's proof of stake and some degree of centralization, and the majority of the nodes in the United States. I'm not saying he's right, but he threw out that trial balloon. And you have Tornado Cash, which is a protocol, which is software getting nailed by OFAC. How do you, as a fund, and actually I want to turn to you first, because you're kind of approaching from the association side and the regulatory side, you have a risk and a challenge with funds in crypto that you don't have with regular securities, which is you don't know what this token is legally, and it can change. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, listening into some of the conversations that these guys have.
And I'm sorry, the short version, because I'm getting the wave.
With the investors, they're dealing with a scenario which is completely different to what we're used to in the traditional world. And to some extent, there's a lot of managing of expectations of what investors actually expect of them. Because obviously they're exposed to risks and volatility that you wouldn't otherwise have in a traditional fund. I mean, just market movements.
I'm sorry, all you do in your prospectus is you give additional risk factors, saying the legal nature of what we're trading may change and watch out? Okay, that's possible.
So look, the reason Tornado Cash was blocked is the concern of national security. So North Korea hackers basically have stolen 800 million in worth of crypto, 600 million in the Ronin hack, the famous Axie Infinity exploit, and the OFAC is effectively enforcement of national security and whatever it means for the United States. So they identified that around 30% of that cash that was stolen in hacks were basically laundered through Tornado Cash. So my partner Joe was talking in the second panel about some bad actors using these technologies. That's of course happening. So there are things we need to do together to stop that. But that's the reason Tornado Cash was targeted by OFAC. Now, crypto community that actually understands what's going on knows or believes that this was not an action against crypto as a movement or as a technology, but it was kind of the only thing OFAC could do to kind of make the life of North Korean hackers harder. So I guess that's
I hope you're right. Unfortunately, we're out of time, so let's give a big round of applause, please.